You're the expert. I just work here.
Looks pretty solid.
I just work here.
Listen, I just work here.
I didn't pick you. I just work here.
All right, guys, welcome to I Just Work Here, the podcast where we interview you for your dream job. I'm Jesse James, your host. I've got my co-host Drew Hollway with me.
Hello.
Today we have a guest I'm super excited about. I'm on a show called The Nightcap on Fox News with him regularly. He's become a very good friend of mine. You guys, please give it up for Scott Shunk.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here. Two of my favorite humans.
Who was supposed to give it up when I said that?
We'll cut in a sound.
Are there people just in their cars just losing it?
If they're not, then we're gonna shut this whole thing down.
No shit.
Do we need to wait for that to shut it down?
We sh-
I think we should open with shutting down. I think we should get ahead of the curve on this one, guys, because this is going to be an interesting interview. So, Scott, you've come in today. You're looking for a door job at our nightclub. And
Absolutely.
We're gonna interview you as a doorman for our nightclub.
Nothing could bring greater honor to my family.
So let's get started. Tell me a little about yourself.
Well, I started my life in the entertainment industry and segued that into a more professional media career. In the .com one era, I started a company called Botticelli Interactive in the late 90s with some MIT colleagues of mine. MIT was one of our biggest clients. And eventually I was hired by the Institute, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, to run a large-scale project, which became one of the biggest projects ever undertaken at the Institute. And I was the director of that project. So I was a research director at MIT in my last professional capacity.
So I think right now we'd be interested in what that large-scale project was and what that looked like.
It was taking the what was called something we called image-driven scholarship. I worked with a very well-known historian. His name was John Dower. He's won the Pulitzer, the National Book Award, the Bancroft, and he used images to drive his historical analysis. And so what he wanted to do was use all of these images, which could never be included in his historical tomes, and put them all together and use the web, which was a new technology at the time in the late 90s, early aughts, to then display all of these images while he was writing his historical analysis around them, because that could never happen in anything other than an art or coffee table book up until that point. So when do I get this door job?
What does that mean, Drew?
Okay,
Hold on.
so,
What the fuck does any of that mean? Okay.
So images is pictures. So they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Okay.
And he was so busy with his business that he didn't have time to write all those 1,000 words. So he thought, I'll just include the pictures, and that'll do the words for me.
All right.
There we go.
Definitely.
And the internet is it's sort of like meeting up behind the schoolyard with everyone who's ever existed.
It's the internet's X videos, right?
They have other things.
That's what. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. But why would you need anything else?
If
Have you ever seen X videos?
Did you know that the internet is in England too?
Did you know it's not just your exes? They have all kinds of girls on there. It's insane, dude. You can search girls you've never even been with before and see their breasts.
Is it true? This is not true.
I shed you not.
Oh my gosh.
Jamie, can we pull up breasts?
What was your role in that whole large scale project?
Well, there were 5 of us on the project that comprised the core team, and then that expanded, of course, to be. There were a myriad of other consultants and companies, and we worked with Princeton, we worked with Harvard, we worked with Yale. These were all my board of directors. So low scale stuff.
Right. Low scale Princeton, MIT stuff. Definitely, you were right. Who among us would degrade ourselves to do that low level
to work with such fools?
Absolutely, a door guy at Secret Group falling from grace to the lower levels of MIT. Could you imagine?
So yeah. At any rate, I was the director of the project. So it was John was more or less the driver as this renowned historical author, and then I figured out how to build this thing. What was the technology and how do we bring it to market and how do we scale it and make it viable in the world. And today it's still like one of the biggest sites in MIT's lexicon.
You guys were able to work through this
millions
and solve all
millions
these
of hits every month still to this day.
Would you mind telling me how that you take what you learned from that and you apply it to having 6 different trash cans in different parts of the club that need to be emptied simultaneously and make it to the dumpster while IDing people in line without letting anyone in the club underage?
Well, Jesse, some things are unknowable. And I would have to put that in under the category of unknowable things.
Unattainable. I'm not a genius, okay? I only portray one at MIT. I'm a theoretical genius. Is that a thing, a theoretical genius?
Yeah, they have theoretical geniuses.
Is that a person who theoretically could be a genius?
It is, yeah.
Or is that a person who's a genius in theory?
I again, unknowable. But again, it's I look forward to trying to like understand in what capacity I can attain this this level of service within your organization.
Well, let's keep moving through some of your work history and maybe we can find something for you to do around here, something that we can employ you for. So what happens after this big project at MIT?
Well, then things kind of really got interesting in my life. My life's always been kind of interesting.
Things are now going to get interesting for you.
Right.
At what age?
I was 45 when I after 12 years at the Institute, preceded by 5 years of consulting a lot to MIT, but that's when I moved to Texas.
Why would you go from being like academia in the Northeast to, as much as we love it, the great state of Texas? I don't think academia is the primary export in Texas.
Well, no, it's door guy positions.
Yeah, of course. And it was like, and I was ready for a change. It's like hot guy to hang out at club and enforce politics. Like whatever. It's I'm here.
Why Texas?
My then wife, my children's mother, folks had lived down here, and when we would visit them in the early mid-aughts, we used to think, what the fuck are we doing killing ourselves to make $25K a month just to keep the lights on when you can kind of have an equity in salary and not have to pay, an $8,000 a month note on your house? So we decided at one point that we weren't going to work out as a couple, but we were going to stick to the plan of moving to Texas anyway. So we sort of separated and came down in 2 tranches.
That is really mature.
That was.
Do you still have a mature relationship with her? She's not going to be showing up here drunk at the bar asking why you're talking to other women, right?
No. I mean,
because we love drama here, we love entertainment. That would be excellent if we could.
After being put in front of a judge and facing
gossip about.
After being put in front of a judge by her and facing 11 felony counts on gun charges and spending 4 months in rehab for vodka and opiate abuse, I did eventually get down to Texas.
How did you get the vodka into the guns?
It was difficult, but you can load anything we're in Texas.
Yourself.
We're in Texas. People tell you about making their own rounds every day.
You just walk into the room, hold the gun up, point to yourself, and you say, one of these things is loaded with vodka. You have to guess which one it is. One of these things is about to go off. Oh, I know what I'm doing when I get home tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's after MIT, there was a precipitous blow up of life, which is great. I highly recommend. First of all, I'm a huge fan of divorce. Secondly,
look, I've been married twice and divorced once, and I can tell you that divorce was definitely
the better call.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to hang with marriage while it's working.
Right.
But,
well, the second happiest day of my life was when I went in front of the judge when I went in front of who the fuck marries you? The preacher.
Your wife.
And I looked at my wife and I said, yes, I do. But the happiest day of my life was when I looked the judge in the eye and said, yes, Your Honor, I'm pretty goddamn sure I'm done.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Well, I got divorced here in Houston.
At the secret group?
Not at the secret group, but right next door over on Louisiana at the big courthouse. And it was like, first of all, I do very well with female judges. Let me just state that. You know, those
like
11
you've been
felony
judged by a lot
counts
of
on
females.
firearm charges, which are no lie. I was before about a very hot 60-something judge.
I didn't think you could wear mesh shirts in court.
No, but a Xenia suit will suffice.
Zendaya?
Emangalia Xenia.
Is that the girl
or the
Disney?
Hugo Boss thing that you like to envision me.
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Let's just say it was a nice suit.
No, that is accurate. You look like the model for the Nazi Hugo Boss suit, 100%.
Those are my people.
Hugo Boss or the Nazis?
Either. I mean,
They actually used his cranial measurements for the skull emblem.
yeah,
on the
I am
Waffen
almost
SS.
entirely German, and I did grow up in Pennsylvania, which does tend to house a lot of Nazis. So, you know,
What part of Pennsylvania?
right outside Harrisburg in a little town called Carlisle.
Gonna stay the fuck away from there. Thank you for the tip.
You really should. Yeah.
Nazis and Pennsylvanians. I can't think of a better reason to stay out of that little pocket.
If you remember, and you're too young to remember the Clash song "Clampdown," there's a line where it says "Working hard in Harrisburg," and it's all about neo-Nazis, and that's so they're talking about it.
Your
there.
culture has been repackaged and resold to the younger generation so many times they all know what you're talking about.
God bless Gen X. Fuck those boomers, but the Gen Xers, we were the real deal.
Excellent. So, tell me about the blow up.
Well, as I said, it was 11 felony counts. I was and 4 months
I
in
feel like
rehab.
they're just getting greedy at some point. Like
I
everything
agree.
past like the third or fourth felony, like really, guys, like,
Yeah.
you're just bragging now.
What were the charges? Was it just possession of
Yeah,
a license?
Well, so what happened is I had grown up in Pennsylvania, and like a good Pennsylvania boy, like a good Texas boy, I was you have guns, you shoot them, you hunt, whatever. And over the years, I had moved. And at one point, my parents just shipped everything of mine to me in Massachusetts. I had never looked at these things or, like they were just, everything was packaged. And so my wife at one point, then wife, was saying, he's got guns. I know he's got guns somewhere, and I don't feel safe with them in the house. I'm not safe. Anyway, so the millennial cry of honor. And
How old is
I'm
your
not
wife?
safe. At this point, she's 37, 38.
Gotcha.
I'm 45. She's 8 years younger than me.
Okay,
Is that at this point or at that point?
It was at that point, not this point. At this point, she's almost 50 and still hates me, but we get along very well.
That's not a millennial, Scott.
No. I was just making a joke
it's
about
the
the
other
millennial
millennial.
cry.
Oh, okay.
All millennials.
Okay.
I don't feel safe.
Gotcha.
Like when I'm yelling at someone, who's in their 30s and they're like, I don't feel safe. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
I'm not allowed to.
I don't give a fuck. This is my dark alley, and I will follow anybody into it who I goddamn please.
Yeah. Enter your dark night of the soul, motherfucker. Get some depth.
We used to be allowed to just possess unregistered firearms, but we can't anymore because of woke.
Exactly. Well, I lived in Massachusetts, which is an otherwise amazing state, but there were definitely some restrictions on firearms ownership at any rate. So this all went wildly wrong, although there was no malfeasance or maliciousness.
Right.
Do you want to explain malfeasance, Dan?
That means poor people, right?
Yeah.
Malfeasance
It's also
for
bad.
malfeasance's sake, right? Wait a minute. Ain't that witch from the Disney movie?
Exactly. Actually, malfeasance often is used in the to describe corporate, misdeeds. But at any rate, nefarious was probably the better use.
Oh, the
should've got-
vampire movie. Definitely. I love that one, dude. Okay, let's do the vampire movie instead of the Disney movie.
And there's always a hot chick in the vampire movie because vampires, they fuck. They're hot as hell.
Are you a vampire? You
Well-
have to tell me if I ask you. It's
Legally,
like fucking
you have
being a
to.
cop. You have to identify yourself.
Right. Well, the only reason I'm not a vampire is because you can't see yourself in mirrors, and God, I love mirrors.
Do you think that's because of the silver that was used in the manufacture of old-timey mirrors when the vampire myths were being written? Or do you think that vampires can't see their reflection in anything?
Because they're they're para. I don't know. That's a great question though. Like I had never thought of the confluence of that.
Like if a vampire had like some extra shiny shoes or a puddle of water.
Right. You know, my grandparents, when they would leave the house, and this is no shit, we used to actually cover the mirrors because they were afraid the house would burn down because of the sunlight reflecting off a mirror and setting something on fire. Now, think about Northern California where all those hippies have prisms. Now, those things actually do start fires. Just an aside.
There's a...
So here's the thing. It was refraction, not reflection, that fucked people.
I'm going to remember that.
Vampires can't see their own reflections, but they can see their own refractions.
Exactly.
They can only see themselves in crazy, kooky funhouse mirrors.
By the way, Drew, you're actually 100% correct. The first reference to vampires not being able to see themselves is in Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's typically believed because they were made with silver, and that was known to repel evil spirits.
Yeah, so when I tell you Drew's a genius, it might not always show on the surface, but I'm not kidding. This kid is a genius. He's the guy I will call at 3:45 in the morning with any random question, and he just fires it off. And yes, I know I could use Google, but I struggle.
Did you know that, Drew, or did you just...
Well, it's a lot of extra words and stuff.
I knew that mirrors used to be silver, yeah.
But now, who was the genius that then came along and said, no, dude, black paint works just fine on glass. That makes it reflect. I mean, that's what a mirror is now.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild that they figured that out. And speaking of mirrors...
What a savings of a precious mineral and metal. What
mineral was used in black paint?
Cobalt. I don't know. Onyx. I don't know.
All right, I have a question.
Can you be onyx with us real quick?
I'm going to be onyx with you.
All right, guys, rein it black in. I've been really looking forward to asking you this specific question. I was going to leave it for deeper in the interview, but I really want to go ahead and get out of the way. What are your biggest weaknesses?
That I care too much.
That I work too hard. And remember, this is also not a real job interview, so I want you to say whatever the fuck you feel like saying. What are your weaknesses?
Well, I'm a little vain.
Unless it's the giant one in the hammer he's swinging, then he's a lot of vain.
Yeah, I'm vain, but here's the beauty: when you get to be my age and you still look like this, you once you crest 50 years of age, and you have no fucks left to give.
Well, then explain to me how the confidence is a weakness. Explain to me how that's a weakness, because it doesn't sound or feel like a weakness.
Well, it's vanity. I didn't say confidence. I said vanity. But yes, you're right. There's a level of confidence.
Okay, first of all, correcting the interviewer is not a great way to get the job. So jot that down.
Vanity is those little mirrors that women use to do their makeup,
right?
Or fancy men,
or look at their vaginas.
All right, so vanity.
Those are the vanity mirrors.
How is
that's
vanity
the hand
a
mirror.
Weakness for you?
Because I can be a little overwhelmed with the superficial, but then I'm a Sag, so it's like every one of our moon signs is above this horizon sign. At least I'm whatever women.
I thought you were so smart until you just quoted that to me.
Yeah,
you just hit me with horoscopes.
You know why? Because women care about that, and if you're gonna, work like me in the world,
right,
which relies heavily, it takes a village of women to raise Scott.
Where is there a village of women in the first place?
Well, they comprise 51% of the populace. So
vanity is your biggest weakness. What else? You got to have something else in there besides vanity.
Well, let's say I do have a real love affair with opiates and vodka.
There we go.
Okay, is that better?
That's a real weakness.
That's a weakness.
You need a weakness.
Why don't you tell me about a time that threw you off your path?
Oh, well, again, hence I'm living in Texas and no longer a research director at MIT. No.
Oh, so yeah, let's follow up with that. We left that completely hanging. 11 felonies.
Right.
What the fuck happened?
It was
You don't just okay. We're good now.
I think he did.
I did exactly that. You know, remember.
He walked in and he winked at the judge and he said, "I'll see you, toots." And that was it.
It was not that far off.
Case
I
closed.
hired a female criminal attorney.
Okay, well, first of all, we respect women on this show, so you can just call her a regular attorney.
She was a regular attorney, but no, I knew it would look good. She was also incredibly capable and competent.
Was she hot?
Yeah, ish. Anyway. But no, the judge just liked me. I kept showing up and doing everything I was supposed to do. I was living in Florida at that moment because I had gotten out of my 4 months in rehab, and I was doing like any good 46-year-old that had just left rehab for vodka and opiates, living with his parents in Florida before he moved to Texas to be near his children because he couldn't stand to be near the mother of his children.
She must have been a really bad judge. Does she know you're not supposed to punish them for what they do when they show up to court? You're supposed to punish them for the thing they did before they got to the court? That just sounds like she's bad at her job. Of course he's doing everything right. He's in the court. Yeah. Like, that's not impressive. He should have done everything right.
I looked so good in that suit, Jesse.
Do you have a picture that you can send us that we can use
I
for
will.
this
Yeah, I
podcast?
mean, it was. Yeah, I think it was Ferragamo loafers, my Rolex.
Oh,
I wore
amazing.
glasses. I
And
mean,
just one favor: when you send me that picture, please, for the love of God,
yes,
don't accidentally send me any more dick pics, Scott.
You loved it.
My wife's gonna have a fucking heart attack, dude, and she's gonna leave me. Okay.
Okay. You know, it's you know, the entirety of Fox 26.
Not out of. Yes, the entirety of Fox 26 did leave me in a very messy divorce, and I didn't want to bring that up till right now. The first 3 were hard, but once it got down to the production assistants and the work.
Are we talking about the divorces or the pictures he's sending you?
Yeah.
So the first 3 were really hard.
The divorces?
I don't find that fully hard really works for my OnlyFans. I find that, like 3/4. It's a semi-erect thing for my OnlyFans.
So what'd you end up with? Did you get probation? Did you get anything? Or
Nothing.
Was it just
fully dismissed without prejudice, meaning that if the district attorney decided to come after me again, they could. So I had 7 years of living in total fear because the district attorney is always like, we're going to go after you. The reason they came after me, none of this should have been that big a deal because it was just like I was an upstanding member of the community, lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts, had a beach house on Martha's Vineyard, made a lot of money, paid a lot of taxes, had never done anything wrong, no record whatsoever. But they wanted me politically because I was a white dude, and it was like, let's go fuck the white guy, and we're living in this thing where everything looks bad. So the DAs always want a political career,
So is it safe to say that had a major impact on your professional reputation?
It wouldn't have mattered. I was still interviewing at Rice when I came down here. It all kind of fled. It's all sort of gone. But it's like it was just I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore. I had done my thing in as close to a normal jobby job kind of way as I was going to do, and I was done. So at that point, I was like, I'll figure something out. I was going to start. I had a new startup idea with a partner, and that all kind of fell apart when he died. But mysteriously. No.
11 more felony gun charges were filed, but luckily Scott had a second suit that he wore to court. A second female lawyer.
Dude, I have $100,000 worth of suits.
What do you do with both of the suits?
They're all sitting in my 14-year-old son's closet, hoping that at some point the fashion will come back. Pinstripes will be back, goddammit.
Absolutely.
But I was done, man. I was like done with what I was doing, and I just wanted to sort of play in life, and then I did, and that was the moment that the sort of the Silver Fox zaddy thing started to happen. I started doing some modeling on Insta. Wilhelmina over in, the agency got in touch with me. I started.
So you immediately knew you wanted to be seen, and that's what you were looking for, was to go out and be seen.
Yeah.
So what was the first step in that direction?
It was Insta. Insta was blowing up in 14, 15. So that was the year I just started, that was when Instagram
And you were
was
already handsome and successful at this point in time. So you just started sharing your handsome face and your successful lifestyle, and obviously that gained traction pretty quick.
And I went from being like 7% body fat down to being about 4 And then that changed because I was super ripped and drug free.
You think that 3% made that much a difference?
Yeah. Oh,
Really?
Yeah. Because
I guess it's fiercely
freakish.
Because if you're going down from
It's freakish.
7% to 4, it's not just 3%, it's like 40%.
It is. He's not
understand.
wrong.
Right,
it's a
right.
it's like the Richter scale.
I
It's like-
understand how compound interest works, you fuck. I have a lot of credit cards that I'm paying on right now, okay? Don't you dare make me look stupid. I can do that by myself. So you took Instagram and you got what? A bunch of followers.
Yeah, and then OnlyFans hit, and all my followers, I happen to have a huge, cadre, a contingency of gay men, and they were like, "Do you have an OnlyFans?" And I'm like, "No." And then OnlyFans just kept building and building, and I was like, "All right, I'll give it a try." And I built an OnlyFans. It kind of blew up, and it was, I wasn't doing like the stupid money, which I think is a lot of hyperbolic bullshit. But I was doing like 2 to 4K a month, depending on it, and that was
Pretty easy fucking size money, right?
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
I have an OnlyFans now. Yeah.
How long have you done it for?
I think I started it at probably in 20.
What's a work day like for an OnlyFans model?
I don't do much with mine
I get
anymore.
up, I
kinda-
stretch, I shave, I jerk my dick off a few times.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, waking up with morning wood. Here's an easy shot for the boys. And so it's
So OnlyFans is literally just having a new girlfriend. That's it. Well, a new boyfriend, I guess.
well,
It's thousands of new boyfriends.
Thousands of new
it's
boyfriends.
thousands
So
of new
OnlyFans is just being gay.
I mean, what I do is like on my fans, it's me having sex with women. And I usually don't have their faces in it unless they don't care.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. and it's it's like over the years, just because a lot of my fans and followers have been gay men, you learn stuff, and they're like, we actually like watching straight dudes fuck women because it's we see enough gay porn in our world, so it's kind of hot. Anyway, whatever, I don't know.
That's feedback that you've really got before.
Really got.
That they like watching you fuck straight women. Have they seen you fuck a guy?
No.
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 Will they see you fuck a guy?
No. Like I said, I've kind of let the fans thing die down. It kind of got me through COVID.
Is there any guy in the world you would fuck if given the chance? Or that you wouldn't turn down if they came at you?
Fuck? No.
I'd love to.
No.
Marry and have a
different things.
long-term relation.
Listen, I work. Let me qualify this. I work in a world of like understanding masculine beauty, and there's not a lot of it. It's kind of a special thing, right? There's not a lot of guys that are like, certainly in my age group anymore, that are like, or any age group really, that are masculine but also understand their sexual prowess and power. That's kind of a rare group these days,
Right.
the zaddy world. So I mean, like, Brad Pitt's hot as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to fuck him, but he's hot.
You would direct him if he hit on you. You'd be like, nope, not interested, Brad.
Well, I'm not. I mean, like, I'm not gonna fuck him in the ass or get fucked in the ass or suck. There's not gonna be any oral stuff
I feel
going
like I
on
got
there.
way too hung up on these questions I didn't care about because I just got lost for a second. I'm asking questions that I don't want or need the answers to
Okay,
at
good,
all
good,
right now.
good.
So
I
let's just-
feel like if Brad Pitt came up to you and said, "I'd like to suck your cock," you wouldn't say, "No, I'm not interested in any of that. Get out of here, you brilliant, beautiful billionaire."
I don't know how to respond to that. I think we're down the rabbit hole on this one. I mean,
wouldn't go down Brad Pitt's rabbit hole.
I would be
we're
like,
down the
be like, well, I don't know. It's like, why don't we get some coffee or something,
Okay.
or vodka and opiates? I don't know.
I see something on your profile that interests me a little bit. I'm wondering what this is. Cam kids.
Oh, Cam
So that's
kids.
a lot like OnlyFans.
Except with children.
Wow!
Oh my
wow!
God.
That is an awful circle back. And what's funny? I'm sitting here. You're saying I see this thing, and I'm like, he's gonna, and like I don't even know why, but I knew it was gonna be Cam Kids. So all right. So before MIT, I had this company I was talking about.
Let me tell you about the other 11 felonies. I
the
got.
other 11 felonies.
So are there any kids out there that you...
No, Cam Kids was actually a brilliant little show based on the era of cameras sitting on top of everyone's CRT monitors, and so we actually kind of built the show. It was for Nickelodeon and Noggin. So we'd done a whole series of interstitial programming for that. It was a badass little
You're
show.
kidding me.
I'm not. So
what were
I-
some
I
of the
did-
themes? What was it like working on that show? I'm super interested in that.
It wasn't that interesting. There was a lot of environmental stuff. We had done a lot of work with the EPA, the government level, and then we were sort of it's that boring.
That's what the kids are into.
They love farts and guitars and when you push people over. I have children.
Think
and those
about
are
this.
the three biggest hits with the kids. Farting, knocking stuff over, and usually farting again. It's in their top three twice. They're kids.
Farting is the release of methane, which I think the EPA would be very interested in.
Right, exactly.
They're taking big steps to prevent.
We've got carbon credits here for your children.
Ah.
Yeah. No, it was a cool program. We had done a lot of really badass animation and then live action stuff and segued it. And this is like 2001 stuff. We're talking 23 years ago. So.
I noticed you were notably absent from that documentary.
Yeah.
This is in the Splat logo days and not the Foot logo days.
Exactly.
Iridium Games trade show kiosk.
Oh yeah.
You worked kiosks in a trade show?
All right. So again, this is antiquated stuff, and I'm pulling out this. First of all, I could pull this resume out, and I'm like, Jesus, I haven't really updated this thing. Since
You haven't done
05.
shit in 20 years. We're gonna have.
Well, yeah. What was I
We're
going
gonna
to put
spend
there?
a lot. We're just like Scott. We're gonna spend a lot of time in the Gap today.
Gigolo, porn star, swimwear model, TV show, late night TV shows.
When were you a gigolo, and what is your favorite ICP album?
It's like I can never trade Slipknot for Insane Clown Posse. I mean, it's like they're my favorites. It's like it's
It's like choosing.
I'm a juggalo from way back.
So Iridium Games. What's going on with Iridium Games?
So Iridium was the largest business failure in all of American history. I think it's certainly up to that point. MCI, which was a long distance carrier before that, but Iridium was the largest business failure. It was a $6 billion failure in the early aughts. Mm-hmm. A woman who was the wife of the high level executive at Motorola couldn't get a signal on her cell phone on a beach somewhere, and she's like, I want to get the signal everywhere. And they came this stupid idea that we're going to put 26 low orbit satellites up in the atmosphere so we can make boat phones that work everywhere. No one knew what this was. So it was the beginning of satellite phone technology, but no one needed one because cell phones were about to work on the beach. So there was this interim step, and Motorola lost like $6 billion. And we were hired, my company was hired to do all this stuff. And I came in and I had 1 month to do, they had not done any, the company that had gotten the original contract, which I took over as the producer, had a year to do all this animation work for Motorola for this trade show thing that was happening in Geneva. Mm-hmm. That was something, the teleconference happened once a year.
Geneva, New York?
Geneva.
Geneva.
The Geneva. The
Geneva convention they talk so much about.
Okay.
So anyway, I had a month to kind of build Toy Story essentially and get this thing in these huge kiosks, and it was like a 3-story building on the grounds of this amazing teleconference that happened once a year back then when people give a shit about telephony.
Definitely. So what were the results?
We won Best of Show for that whole thing. I mean, it was like, again, this goes way the fuck back. This was 99, actually.
99.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually still in touch with a lot of the people from that project because there was like 50 people on that project, and but I spent 2 weeks in Geneva.
Let's conference call them right now.
We should.
We should conference call them right now.
To anything, I ended up as I was getting all this thing set up, I did a lot of amazing cocaine in the dungeon of a castle at a rave, and it was in 99, and that's when shit was real.
Let's dig into that a little more. Is it that fish scale or that Colombian fire?
It was brown.
Wow.
Right, yeah. Back when this stuff was brown.
No,
go on.
No, we don't need to edit that out later.
Has anyone on the Iridium team gone on to do anything actually interesting?
Oh, almost all the people on that project have gone on to do amazing stuff. Yeah.
Like what would be like a notable name that we would know from them?
So
Besides, of course, Scott Shunk.
one of my best friends, German national, went on to build the biggest mocap studio in all of Europe. That, you know, when motion capture was a meaningful way of doing animation, and so he built that right after that. Again, his father was one of the directors at Deutsche Bank, so he had a little backing on that play. but it mattered.
Wow, you're friends with a guy whose dad works really high up in German banking. I'm absolutely shocked.
Right?
Wow, you have high up connections in Germany. That is troubling.
There's those bracelets keep getting higher and higher on your arm.
Right? They're finding their way to my heart center.
Dude, I don't even think we've talked about what was your very first job ever? Not your career, but like what was your first job?
Like as a kid?
Yeah.
Paper route.
Paper route?
For sure,
You were
yeah.
a paper boy, just door to door with the newspapers?
Door to door with the Carlisle Evening Sentinel, riding my Sims skateboard with Kryptonic wheels and tracker trucks. These are not the skateboard names we hear today.
Just
but
kick flipping papers into people's...
yeah, the Dogtown era of skateboards.
Definitely.
Stacy Peralta.
How old were you?
8, 9, 10.
Were you as ambitious back then? Were you always a very ambitious kid, or is that something that came later?
I just knew I wanted to make shit happen. It didn't
Definitely.
matter what it was, and that's still my thing. I just want to make badass shit happen and live a wildly swashbuckling life.
How did you apply that to the paper delivery industry at 11?
It was definitely the skateboard. Everyone else was on their BMX bikes, and those were going to get pilfered along the way. But my skateboard, I could take right into the.
Is there any other memorable jobs from your youth before you got into your career that you can think of while you were in school or while you were in high school or anything like that?
For sure, painting. My father was the worked at a school in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, where I grew up, called Dickinson College, a well-known liberal arts school, great school. And so summer jobs were offered to sort of the kids, the professors, and the staffers. And so I one summer painted. Now, most of these kids just basically got to sleep in the back of trucks, moving, like lawn furniture around for, parties and stuff. I worked with the school painter, and man, I worked every day for 8 hours. Paint, sanding, like urinal stalls and shit. I'm breathing in every amazing chemical. And all summer, in the balls heat of central Pennsylvania humidity.
Oh yeah, 78 degrees, definitely. I remember the Northeast, all 78 degrees of it.
and I remember, and you got paid like at the end of the summer. So it was like, and this was back when summer break was 3 months, right? And I was working for minimum wage, and there was a government program that was actually subsidizing the college to kind of hire us. So like they weren't even paying the $3.25 an hour that I was being paid. And so like the end of the summer would come around and I would get a check for like $900, for 3 months fucking work. It was like, that was a notable job. And I was like, I'm never doing this shit again.
And did you have to pay taxes on that?
Oh yeah, that was post tax. But my first job really after school, or like I left school like college after 2 years initially before I went back and finished my degree.
What was your initial program?
I was at Berklee College of Music because I was going into music. Anyway, but my first job was really, my grandfather was an amazing craftsman, so like I became a great carpenter, or good carpenter, pretty young, and then became a really good carpenter. And this was back in the day when there wasn't like a digital world to go off and like, I'm going to design websites. It was like, this was like 84, 85, and like I'm swinging nails and building decks on the roofs of townhomes on Beacon Hill in Boston.
And these are summer jobs or part-time jobs?
I built a company and did this, and I'm 18 and I earned $100K in 3 months building decks in Beacon Hill, and then bought my studio gear. And
I think that's interesting to me, because in the thought before you shared about painting was that you didn't want to do hard work, and then you followed it up by immediately doing hard work and building a company off of it. What's the thought process behind that?
Well, I am always willing to bust
It's like
ass.
get somebody else to do the hard work.
Well, it's, I think I don't mind doing hard work. I just don't want to do hard work for shit money.
Fair enough.
And that's what that taught me. But if I could work my ass off for 3 months and make $100K at 18, I was willing to do that.
And you did that with the company that you built for contract work?
Beacon Hill Artisans.
Does that still exist?
my friend up in Boston, or he lives in New Hampshire now still. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he still has that as the moniker, but yeah, it was he and I.
Do you build it all now?
Absolutely.
Just for you, or?
Well, my Marcy, the woman of throwing 11 felony counts at me, my children's mother, like when she's got a beautiful house in Bel Air, and like the fence falls down routinely, and I go in and I throw up a new fence, dig the pits, throw in the crete, build the frame, and then throw up 400 pickets.
So it's just something you keep in your toolbox that you picked up young? And
I still have I still have a giant tool collection, literally. So my toolbox is still real and exists in her garage.
Did you do anything else with it after you finished and sold that company, or did you move on to something else after that?
No, I moved right into the digital world because that was the beginning. It was like I didn't want to be an old man doing whatever, even contracting. I mean, it's great and honorable work and all that, but that just wasn't who I was.
I have a
it was a means.
Couple questions, especially about Berkeley.
Yeah,
because that's a prestigious program,
right?
First of all, when did you know you wanted to go study music at Berkeley? And how did you know you wanted to be a musician?
Well, I knew I wanted to be a musician from age 8. Like I had a little record player, Johnny Cash record, a little toy acoustic guitar, and I'd sit there and like pretend to be Johnny Cash. So and like I wanted to write songs, write music, have fun with it. So it was always what I wanted to do.
Did you really commit to the bit? Did you do the hard drugs and the racism and all the other Johnny Cash stuff?
Hey, whatever it took, man. I'm all in. So it was always what I did. I just always was writing music, always figuring out a way to buy instruments, learning. I learned guitar, and eventually became sang and was writing all my songs. And then the band happened. I mean, I went to Berkeley for a couple years, saw that there's really no point in having a degree in music, and I didn't, but there was a very big point in having your own studio, electronic. And I worked largely in electronics in the earliest days of it, synth sampling, drum machines, loops, all that stuff.
So did you meet your band while you were at Berkeley?
No, it's actually one guy is my childhood friend, my best friend of 43 years at this point, godfather to my kids, Brad, and so he became he did all the electronics and keyboards, the sampling stuff. He and I did all the sampling and songwriting, and then we got a couple of guys around us, and all those guys are still musicians today. I mean, the guitar player in a band, I'm going to out you, Mark Jackson, wrote Bishop Briggs, River. I mean, he's one of the biggest songwriters and producers in LA right now. So I've always been around pretty incredible people.
The passion that you're speaking with about doing this when you were younger is intense.
Yeah.
Why did you go from that back to a normal 9-to-5 career if you were so passionate about that work?
Great question. Now we're getting serious, though. No, because
we have pleny of time for dick jokes, bro.
Good, because I've got an OnlyFans. You can see my dick jokes all day long. But the music industry will annihilate you, like any piece of the entertainment industry, as you guys know as comedians. It's a brutal game. We had the band.
We hope for it to take advantage of us one day. We hope if you're out there, comedy gods, we very much hope somebody will come along and exploit us someday.
So anyway, the band had been doing really well. We wrote these, we had great songs, great tours, played the places we wanted to play with, the bands we wanted to play with. And there just comes a point where, like there's enough of this in the industry. There's always like 6 more months. And Rose Noon, who was representing Trent, 9 Inch Nails at the time, was like, 6 more months, man, we'll get you there. And we're like, this was '99. We just played like one of our final showcases, and my friend Brad, 43 years, was like, dude, we've done it all. We wrote the songs we wanted to write. We toured the tours we wanted to tour, played the shows, did the things. We're still healthy, and we both got the potential to move into this .com1 arena. We both got the skills. We're both already in it a little bit, making money. And we made a little money writing music. I mean, so he's like, we kind of had the best of it. Do you want to keep going? And the reality is because of my love of vodka and opiates, I would have been a casualty. There is no doubt.
Right.
So there was a moment there that my best friend just put his hand on my chest, in a figurative manner and said, dude, maybe it's time to step away.
Maybe we need some routine and some structure outside of this industry.
And then I went all in, and I literally within several months was sort of like, okay. And I always like to move to the next thing.
Right.
And this has been, I'm 32 or something at this point, or 31, and I was like, so 30 years of doing music, I was like, okay. I cut my hair, took my eyebrow ring out, my fucking gauged hoops out of my ears, and put on a Hugo Boss suit and cut my hair.
You seem to me like a person who's going to pursue things with that intense passion regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
But did you actually feel that passion for the second career?
Yeah, I did. I was
that
all
intensity,
in. Yeah,
that
I
love,
wanted
that...
to. Yeah, I wanted to make badass media. I wanted to do television. I wanted to make television, make content. I wanted to be a good producer and a good creative, and stay in media, and I did. So it was a lateral move at a certain level, and it kept me in media and doing really cool, badass, creative shit. And at that point, things kind of moved into advertising for a while. I was a creative director at some ad agencies for a minute.
I think you're a particularly interesting case for this show because so far we've mostly had people who have jobs, and you seem like your work is an extension of who you are.
Right.
And you seem like a genuinely happy person, and that's a very unique thing that you're lucky to have. Where you're, I don't know if it's luck or effort or all of it, where you're able to pursue these passions through work, and like I said, to actually be working on stuff you're passionate about, and that's fucking unique, dude.
Yeah,
that's
thank you.
hard.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who we come in and we talk to about, it's like, why did you take this job? Well, it was there. Okay,
Right.
how did you get promoted? I hung around long enough. I didn't have anywhere else to do, which is, I think, what a lot of us think about when we think work, and it's really refreshing to have somebody in here who I feel like your work is an extension of you.
It is. It always has been. There's never been anything I've done that was like, I just need to do this.
And so you have to ebb and flow with your personality
Exactly.
in order to do that work.
Exactly.
So how long are we going to ebb and flow in this chapter until we move to whatever's next?
Well, again, as you noticed, there was this weird pivot after sort of doing all this modeling and social media stuff and some of the entertainment stuff, like the TV stuff. The whole music thing came back around, right? And so,
Right.
it's like you said, I just got back from touring Europe and I was singing for this Depeche Mode tribute band. And it's like, I never would have thought something like that was going to be something I would have wanted to do, but it was like, it's two of the guys from the band back in the day. And the Skin Game was the name of the band, but it was like it was like the most amazing thing, playing these great songs by Depeche Mode, and we're doing this like heavy ass version
And
of it.
getting to come full circle
Yeah,
with
yeah.
all your friends after stepping away to do a routine in a
25
career.
years after stepping off stage, I got to go back and tour Holland. Like you can't get better. Just driving around Holland, the country, all for weeks, just with tulips and beautiful people and people that want to hear this shit that you're playing, and doing our version of these great songs.
So now that you're home, what's next?
That is a great question, because coming after getting ready to do this tour was a huge build-up for me. Like I'm rehearsing the tunes like for hours every day. I'm working on my fits,
Shredding the body fat from 7 back down to 4.
and
Absolutely.
and then you come down, and it's like I don't have to I've got my kids. I got a 12 and a 14-year-old. That's my biggest routine. My friends and all of that. But it's like it was weird to come down. It's really been it's been about a month now, and it's still like a come down, and I don't know. But I also know that I know my inflection points as a
Right.
human. Like at 57, I know I'm in an inflection point. I don't know what's next, but like I haven't done an honest day's work in 10 years. So
What is the difference between a cover band and a tribute band?
Cover bands that's just gay.
I thought that was
You
your
say that-
demographic.
You say that, but it was a Depeche Mode Trevor band.
Yeah, no. You're Trevor band.
Band.
No. That's a hilarious question, and it's if you're in a tribute band, you sort of can say Anyway, a
Is it
cover
just
band is
production?
a cover band's gonna play a number of different songs by different artists. A tribute band is there to play one artist's particular thing.
It's a
Anyway.
cover band of one specific artist,
Sure.
as opposed to a generalized.
Yeah.
We're just going for this sort of vibe.
Right. Yeah.
And,
we're gonna play all the grunge from this, or we're gonna do the aughts. Oh dear God.
All right.
Are we gonna have to take this
Did
whole
that
thing
fall
over
off the-
again?
Well, I'm guessing we're getting pretty close to our time, Brandon. So if it's okay, I'd like to ask you a quick couple of rapid fire questions. Don't overthink these answers or
Okay.
anything like that. It's just quick little getting to know you. What's the weirdest dream you've ever had?
Oh, it was last week that I fucked my boy's mother again.
That's the weirdest one. What's your favorite movie to watch over and over again?
Apocalypse Now.
What's your favorite season of the year?
Fall.
Who's your celebrity crush?
You can't say yourself.
Uma Thurman.
You can say yourself. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Listen. If you're in a meeting and you want something, let the other motherfucker talk. That you will go through life golden if you do that. Walk in, you need money, you need a position, you need anything, you need some shit to happen. Let the other motherfucker talk. You know, you can be I'm a wildly persuasive human being, but when I'm in a meeting, and I need something, let them talk.
Amazing! What a great little gem we just unearthed there. What's your favorite thing about yourself?
There's so many. I can't really hone in on one. My hair is pretty amazing. I've got a great jawline. There's.
Of any question in the whole world that I could ask you, what's the one question you would not answer?
Oh man, here's the thing about me. I'm sure you can get to one, but I'm not. I'm pretty wildly transparent. Like that's one of the things I've learned in life. There are two tectonic stepping stones for any kind of spiritual and personal growth. Be transparent and be vulnerable. So if I'm trying to hide something, it's like that's the first thing I should talk about. So it's,
Excellent.
So what is your social security number?
208.
And how would you say where you are now compares to where you saw yourself in 5 years ago?
I'm exactly where I would have anticipated being. My whole thing is trust flow. You have to trust flow. You manifest shit, and I don't mean that in the nouveau millennial bullshit way, but you have to make your fucking world happen, but you also have to trust flow. You can't force things too far, but you have to get out there and show up, do the work, and think about it.
It's kind of corny, but that's what they say. The biggest difference between Michael Jordan and Kobe was that Michael Jordan always waited for the game to come to him, which is what made him the superior player, whereas Kobe would force to take over the game, and then by the time his moment was there, he'd be burned out or whatever, worn out from it, whereas Michael Jordan would literally just wait and let the game unfold and find his place to go in and make something happen.
I have to say it to myself often, and every day I'm like trust flow. Like when things start going wonky on me, I'm like, trust flow, and if I need to course correct, I do that, but trust flow.
Excellent.
Would you consider trust flow to be the Generation X version of fuck it, we ball?
Yeah, sure. I claim no. I can't speak for Generation X. It's a pretty baller generation. I mean, we bridged the digital and the analog divide. Really important thing. We made digital. Everything that everyone lives in now was sort of our creature, our invention.
And what did you refer to it as again? Trust flow?
Trust flow.
Trust flow. Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it, we ball.
Guys, this has been one of my favorite episodes. I'm your host, Jesse James. This has been my guest, Scott Shunk. And this has been your co-host, Drew Hollway. This has been I Just Work Here. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
You're the expert. I just work here.
Looks pretty solid.
I just work here.
Listen, I just work here.
I didn't pick you. I just work here.